Marty, you would think that this would be easy. I believe it was John Schell, the head of the NYPD patrol, who told us it's about 175,000 illegals in New York that have come from the wide open border. And, you know, that's one issue that you're dealing with. You would think that that would be easy for New Yorkers to say, look, we want a different policy. Our kids are getting overwhelmed. We've got migrant crime. Yet your problem, Marty, is the fact that New York is largely liberal. You look at the Bill de Blasio election a couple of years ago, and the electorate that came out to vote was so small that he won. So how are you going to win in New York?
I think you got to give the voters a little more credit than that, which is in the district, in the lower part of the Bronx and the northern part of Queens, the situation is they're fed up with AOC. And we hear it every day. They have a very colorful vocabulary that they use when I talk to them, and they see what's going on. They look at her like they've had enough. I think that the best analogy is it's like a franchise quarterback where you come in, you get your rookie deal, everybody wants you to work, everybody wants to see how it goes. But after 5 years, you can see the results. The results are terrible.
Yeah. Okay, and I want to ask you about squatters, but first, it all sort of, you know, came undone yesterday on the floor of the House when a fight broke out. I want you to hear how AOC handled it, your political opponent. Watch.
I'd like to know if any of the Democrats on this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter.
What that has to do with Merrick Garland. Do you know what we're here for?
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
That's beneath even your.
That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Baby girl? I don't think
we are going to.
What do you think is going on there?
This is just what we need in the House of Representatives, right? I mean, this is supposed to be, you know, the legislative body of the United States. So
yeah.
When you said, I thought you talked about the squatters. So I think it's time to evict the squad, not the squatter. We should also evict the squatters, but
the squatter situation is another issue because the squad apparently feels that squatters have rights. Okay, you go into someone's home and you've been living there for 30 days, you have rights. A Queens squatter who used fake utility bills and forged a lease to take over a home is now facing up to 15 years behind bars. The squatter even filing a lawsuit against the homeowner so that they can keep squatting in that person's home. The New York City Council considering a bill which would make all squatting data public information and criminalize freeloading. Marty, what would you do? I want to hear about your policy, Marty. You're taking on AOC, and she's been incredibly effective. Whether you like her or not, she's been incredibly effective. How are you going to take over her seat?
So she has not been incredibly effective in the Bronx and in Queens. So
well, she's effective for Joe Biden. She's basically running the agenda, it looks to me.
Okay, so in the Bronx and Queens, you've got 180,000 Democratic voters who are going to opine on AOC on June 25th. I think that's what we have to look at. And if you go, for example, there is a Fordham law professor who's come out with a lawsuit against NYCHA saying that during the COVID period, there was they weren't given their rights to not be evicted and everything during COVID. This is an AOC's district. This is somebody who does no constituent service at all. Doesn't stand up for her people. And so I don't think we're not going to win this election in Utah. We're not going to win it in Jersey City. What I'm saying is that it comes down to what happens with the 180,000 Democratic primary voters in 6 weeks. So if we want this nightmare to be over, it's really up to the people of the Bronx and Queens to do something about it.
Okay, but Marty, look, real quick, before you go, we want to hear your policies, okay? It's a lot of noise that I'm hearing, you know, attacking your opponents, fine. What are your policies to get New York back in a strong position? I'm giving you the platform. What's your policy, Marty?
Okay, so we've come out with something called the Hamilton Plan, version 2.0. So Alexander Hamilton, after the Revolutionary War, he basically took over the state's debts and created the United States. I think what you have is you have a situation now where the states and the cities and the counties are operating too independently of the federal government. And what we need to do is have much greater harmony between the federal government, the state governments, the county governments, and the city governments. So what you have is you have a cost structure in New York City that is 25 to 30% full of pensions. It's full of bloated expense. And we need to work with the federal government to fix that. You need to restructure the tax code of the United States to switch to a more European system where consumption is taxed, which is a value-added tax, and income is taxed at a lower rate. This is a very Republican philosophy, but it's working in 150 countries around the world.
Yep.
And for some reason, the United States thinks that what we should do is tax income and encourage consumption.
Marty, you're going to have to come up with a list of how you're actually going to change people's lives. 1, 2, 3 policies. I want to know how things will be better under Marty Dolan. I'm watching. We're all watching.
Beautiful.
We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marty Dolan. We'll be right back.